Hello everyone, this is Dipali Anuje. My presentation today is going to be on development of kids in digital age. Professor is Kathy Humber, BEHS 103, Technology and Contemporary Society. In today's world and age that we live in, we are left with no choice but to use technology in order to do things effectively and efficiently. Kids are using computers in school every day. Teachers are promoting the usage of computers. Internet is the new library for finding information. Electronic devices and media are now the new tools to gain knowledge. Facebook and Twitter are the new social circle for today's kids. So what is the result? For very simple things, kids are being so dependent on technology that it is almost impossible to get them to live without one. They don't realize how much time and money they're spending on things like apps, on-demand movies, gaming apps and consoles. They're almost addicted to these devices. There is an increased problem of growing obesity in kids globally because they're not willing to do any physical activities which they would be doing if they did not have technology to support them for entertainment. There's also growing evidence the kids today are suffering from anxiety and distorted thinking, and they're also confused. This presentation will explore how kids are being affected with growing dependency on technology such as computers, television, video games, mobile phones, and the internet. Next, we will be talking about the rewards that technology has given to us in general, and we have all seen and benefited from them. So let's look at them. We will look at the internet benefits. Internet has provided immense success in the way we access information. We can avoid going to libraries now. We don't have to have the newspapers. Internet has provided great help for students in distant learning. Students are able to learn from anywhere in the world. Teaching has not only become easier, but it is more audiovisual, which helps students interpret and understand what they are learning much better than ever before. Lastly but not least, internet is also helping us protect the environment and helping to reduce the effects of global warming. Technology has provided immense solutions for education industry. Today's softwares are very interactive. Learning has not only become audiovisual, but they are very involving and fun. Technology has attracted diverse learners, especially students with physical disabilities, because now teachers can personalize the contents based on needs of each student. Students with disabilities have softwares for hearing, speech, and visual aid that were not available not too long ago. Not only these technologies give them motivation, social and academic development, but it also gives them learning opportunities which were not possible before. There are many other benefits that technology has provided, but in general, motivation in students and kids have increased, along with an increase in self-esteem. People are more technologically savvy and willing to learn better with improved technical skills. So what are the penalties of technology? Let's look at it next. Parents are very concerned of gaming and television habits of their kids, not only because they're spending too much of time in front of the screen, but also because there is a monetary cost associated with these habits. I got Cut the Rope. Many of you must be familiar with this app for my 6-year-old son, and I noticed that if you're stuck on a level and you want to proceed further, there's something called as hints that you can obviously purchase. So things like that add up in terms of monetary costs. University of Michigan Health Systems did a study in which they found out kids ages 2 through 5 on an average spend about 32 hours per week on screen time, may this be on TV, DVD, DVR, or video games. kids ages 6 through 11, we're talking about elementary school kids here, spend on an average about 28 hours per week on televisions. Kids ages 8 through 18, about 71% of these kids have television sets in their bedrooms. 54% also have DVDs or VCR players. 37% kids have cable or satellite TVs. 20% of these kids also have premium channels. In the study, they also found out that 2/3 of these households watch television during meals. 51% of these families watch most of the time. There's also a growing concern that kids are being addicted to online gaming. Now, just sitting and watching TV or playing video games, they're also going to lose opportunities of making new friends, playing outside, doing physical activities such as biking, running, etc., which are also vital for development and growth. Also, TV and video games expose kids to violent contents, which is again a growing concern. Technology has physical impacts as well. Kids are suffering from obesity problem with higher body mass index from a very early age. It is now becoming a global issue, but we are witnessing this issue in the US already. With increased obesity in kids, there is also an increased risk of diseases such as ADHD, diabetes, heart diseases, just to name a few. Nowadays, there are also many programs that are designed and marketed for babies and toddlers. Some experts are skeptical that viewing TV before age 3 hurts their cognitive development. American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, does not recommend kids under 2 to watch TV. Another article written by Tanya Byron also mentions that violence in media is contributing to increased aggressive behaviors in kids. Tanya further emphasizes that kids are not only having problems associating with others, but they're also having problems associating with themselves as well. So kids are suffering from fears, distorted thinking, and confusions. Since kids are spending too much time in front of the screen and they juggle with the regular activities such as going to school, studying, eating, sleeping, etc., they are left with a very little time, which obviously they prefer to spend in front of TV or playing video games rather than playing outside. This is contributing towards kids making less friends and hence less socializing. They're physically disconnected as a result from everything around them, including themselves. This disconnection is creating behavioral problems in societies. We have witnessed quite a few issues related to mental health problems in our society recently, like the Sandy Hook massacre, the Colorado theater shootings, etc. Technology has mental impacts. Kids are living in fear nowadays. They see violence as a part of everyday life, which is causing them the unwanted stress on their brain development. Kids are suffering from sleep problems. These issues are impacting the way they think. It is also affecting them academically. Their attitudes towards people are also influenced based on what they're viewing. So what can be done to solve these problems? Many of you might be wondering. Well, there is not one-size-fits-all solution for this problem. There are definitely policies and guidelines that experts in the industry have recommended. Let's look at some of these policies. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, recommends a few tips for parents. CDC talks about communicating with kids. They want parents to know and understand what their kids are viewing on the internet. They also talk about forming rules on what should and should not be viewed by the kids. They also recommend parents to check the websites that their kids often visit. This is because parents know what the websites are offering and what are the pros and cons of the kids viewing these contents. CDC also tells parents to talk to other parents about their approach on handling technology usage with their kids. CDC also recommends parents to check on school policies on electronic aggression. They also recommend parents to keep up on being informed about new devices in the market and new websites that are being popular in kids. Next, we will do a cross-cultural technology usage comparison. For this demonstration, I have chosen two studies. The first study was conducted in the Midwest here in the US. The second study is an international study conducted in Mbarara, Uganda. American Psychological Association, APA, conducted a study to examine the consequences of home internet usage in low-income families. They studied a sample of 257 people, of which about 117 were adults and 140 were children. These families were particularly chosen from a lower income group, medium-sized urban communities from the Midwest. From the demographics of the subjects, they had about 67% African Americans, 80% were females, 42% were single females who had never married, about 49% subjects were making less than $15,000 per year. The average age of people in this group was about 13 years of age. APA conducted this study to analyze findings for future and public policy regarding the digital divide. Their findings included children spent on an average about 30 minutes per day online. Children logged in usually once per day. Internet communication was very rare. They sent less than one email per week. Towards the end of their project, APA reported their observations. About 16% of the subjects were using emails, 25% were using the instant messaging service, and about 16% occupied in chat-related activities. Okay, so the question arose that why did children from low-income families use so little internet tools? APA says that the reason was very obvious and it was easily overlooked. The subjects did not have too many people to communicate as they were poor. Majority of the poor people don't have internet access. It was very likely that their friends and families were poor too, so they could not communicate through internet as well. APA further studied the effects of internet usage on this group. They found that internet usage did not have any negative effects on their social or psychological outcomes. Internet in fact had positive effects on their academic outcomes. The second study on the cross-cultural technology usage is on a study that was conducted by Uganda Media and Youth Survey to compare the internet usage in Uganda. It was conducted in Mbarara, Uganda with the help of municipality which was serving rural population in sub-Saharan Africa. All the subjects were adolescents, that is ages 12 through 18. About a total of 538 students were studied. 93% of these students actually participated in the study. Of the total students who participated, about 45% students had never used internet before. The study was conducted by Uganda Media and Youth Survey mainly because they wanted to check the internet usage in resource-limited settings. What they found was that material education increased as the use of internet increased. Students mainly used internet to find information related to health. About 1/3 of the students found information on or related to HIV and AIDS. About 20% of these students searched for information on sexual health. Their observations towards the end of the project were that if internet was available free of cost, many more students would have researched on prevention of HIV and AIDS. It would be worthwhile to note that morbidity and mortality is predominantly affected in the sub-Saharan Africa and Uganda due to HIV and AIDS. Our next slide talks on future trends that we can expect with the technology. given the amount of continual growth we are witnessing in this front. So, experts say that by 2059, classrooms are going to disappear completely and virtual teaching on demand will soon replace the actual classroom teaching methodology. Students will be communicating with real teachers on the same level as with robots or, for that matter, avatars. To gain access to premises, facial recognition systems will be used. US Army will be using the gaming helmets, and video game players will be using similar game helmets to read brain waves. There are positives of technology that have far outweighed the negatives, so we have to accept that technology is not going to go away with time. It is here to stay. So embracing it is the only choice we have for now. So let's recap on what we learned here today. We saw how technology has showered us with benefits, and we also saw how technology has cursed us. We saw the policies and the best practices on how to use technology effectively and efficiently. We saw the cross-cultural impact of digital divide from a domestic perspective. We also saw the cross-cultural impact of digital divide from an international perspective. We finally also checked the future trends that could likely happen with the help of our technologically advanced kids. So, we have come to the end of our presentation, but before going, I want to provide you with some questions for thought, and I would like to hear your opinions on them. Having said that, I want you to think on, first, is it beneficial or harmful to stop technological growth? Second, how will the technologically advanced kids of today shape the future of tomorrow? And third, are we all ready for this change? With this, I would like to end my presentation here. I would like to thank you for spending your time to listen to my presentation. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.